going on, everybody? Karate Kid Fanatics back here again. Episode number 40. We have our special guest, Pierce Lackey, aka Grant from Cobra Kai, for episode 6.
Oh, which one is yours?
Oh, that one looks good to me. Haven't talked to her yet, though. Still working on my approach. Got any advice?
Yeah, so how'd you initially get into acting?
So I've always been interested in acting ever since I was a kid. But I waited until much later in my life to really start pursuing it seriously. Um, when I was 21, I had my daughter. And I felt that at that point in time and I knew like acting was a really crazy career scenario and that the degree of difficulty was really hard to try to be successful at it and everything. So I decided to go into business. I first went into production support with some computers. And then after that, I had the opportunity to work with my father doing selling real estate and insurance. And none of that was in my heart, man. So after my daughter graduated from high school and started going to school, I just started taking acting classes. That was back in 2016. And it was just kind of like a slow roll, just like, all right, let me try acting classes first and see how that whole thing goes. And I loved that. And then I was able to get an agent, loved that. And I was down in Tampa, Florida at the time. And we had a casting director come down. Raven Drummer came down for a showcase. And she just kind of told our class, like, if you're real serious about doing acting, you can't really do it here in Tampa, Florida. Just the opportunities right there. So I was looking at either moving to New Orleans because New Orleans was starting to kind of come up a little bit, and Atlanta, and I just felt Atlanta was the best fit for me. So I moved to Atlanta back in 2018, and and I got myself an Atlanta agent, Atlanta Models and Talent, and just kind of haven't looked back. So yeah, it's always just been fun, man. I've always enjoyed it. So much better than selling insurance.
Absolutely. So when did you get the audition for Cobra Kai, and if you can remember, and did you have to do a self tape for it, with COVID and everything?
I did. Yeah. Well, we've been doing self tapes for a while. Very rarely do you go in, even before COVID. Very rarely would we go in for an actual audition. Typically we'd get an email, and the email would sit there and say, hey, you've got this particular audition. It's due by such and such day and such time. And I would either go to a friend's house or I would go to a taping service. And I would just sit there and I would just knock it out. In this particular instance, I went over to a buddy of mine's house and we taped it. And I think I just did like one or two takes, and that was kind of about it. And then uploaded it through Actors Access. And gosh, dog, when did I get that, man? Let me see here. Oh, the dates start kind of, especially now that it's like at the very beginning of the year. So it's kind of confusing. But I would say it was, we filmed it earlier, 2020. It was in March 2020 was when we filmed it. And I probably got that audition around January or February of 2020. So I think it was around February. So it was like about a month later was when I was on set.
Yeah, if you can remember, with the sides, did you know your scene would be with Johnny, or did they just do it like a dummy name?
No, I knew that I would be with him. I knew I would be with him and Sholo, and yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of, William Zabka and Sholo, what was it like, getting to work with them?
They are really cool guys. Like William Zabka is the kind of guy you just want to go and grab a beer with, and he's just a very laid back, genuine, nice guy. Sholo's the same way. He was a little bit more quiet, but still just a real genuine guy, just a really nice human being. And the entire set was just very laid back, very chilled. I mean, William Zabka was always cracking jokes and everything and just getting us to laugh. And you could tell like him and Sholo have like a really good bond. They
absolutely.
Yeah, it's really cool. Very, very cool, relaxed set.
Yeah, did they shoot that in like an actual gymnastics gyms, or did they just have a soundstage built up?
No, there was it wasn't a sound stage. It was a gymnastics gym. Yes. Yeah, it was an actual one. And it was located in the Atlanta area. I can't remember where it was located at, but yes, it was.
Yeah, can you remember how long the shoot was?
For me, it was one day. It was kind of funny, man, because they were shooting an outside. I think it was the outside portion first when he's kind of going through trying to get recruits and everything. And the
Right.
problem with that day was the weather wasn't. It was kind of fickle,
Yeah.
so they didn't know if they were going to be able to get to the outside shoot. So they started working on that first because they were afraid that it was going to rain. So I was in that trailer, man, for 8 hours before they called
Oh,
my
wow.
name. Yeah, yeah. And honestly, man, like, it's kind of funny. I mean, you get in the trailer and and you're just chilling. And once when you reach the 8 hour time period, then you start working in a like time and a half for a couple of hours, and then you go in a double time. So the fact that I just sat there for 8 hours and made
Getting
my day,
paid, absolutely.
and then I
Yeah.
get to go in. I was making time and a half. It was beautiful. So yeah, I did not mind that at all.
Yeah, so, have you seen season 4 yet?
I have not. No, I've just everything's been crazy since New Year's Eve and all that stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah.
no, not as of yet. Of course, I sat there and I fast forwarded to my part real quick just to be able to
Oh,
see that.
yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll go back to it eventually. But yeah, it was a trip, man, because like I sat there and I binged seasons 1, 2, and 3 right before I got that audition. And
Oh,
I
wow.
just, yeah. And then it was like, and I just felt like I just kind of had like a real solid groove of what was kind of going on. And then like I said, I think I did like 2 takes of that audition. It was nothing. And then I sent it in and, and then I booked it. But yeah, it was kind of funny the way how the time, the time frame worked. It was a trip.
Yeah, so, from seeing seasons 1 through 3, are you team Cobra Kai, Miyagi-Do, or Eagle Fang?
um, I would say Eagle Fang. I would say Eagle Fang,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I love the twists and turns that they do, man. Where it's like for a minute there, Ralph Macchio's character will sit there and it'll be a good guy, then he kind of dips into a bad guy and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love how they do that. And I grew up, man, like I love Cobra Kai. I mean, Karate Kid. I loved it when I was a kid, man. I mean, that was a big movie back in the day for me. Gosh, dog, that movie came out what was that?
Yeah,
81,
80
82,
84.
84, 84. Okay.
Yeah.
Was 9 years old when that movie came out. And I just remember like, I mean, everybody saw that movie, man, and everybody was doing the crane kick and everything. I mean, we're all doing it like, on
Absolutely.
the playgrounds and all that. And it was, yeah. And then part 2 came out, then 3, and it was just, yeah, that was a big part of my growing up, man, was the Karate Kid.
Absolutely.
So it was really neat to be able to work with somebody, William Zabka, that's somebody that I had grown up with. Because I mean, I remember him from Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield and Just One of the Guys. I mean, it's like, he was in a lot of the different 80s films. So it was really neat working with him. And to find that he was such a cool guy was beautiful. It was awesome.
Yeah, that scene was funny, man. It made Johnny sound like such a pedophile in that scene.
Oh yeah, I know. I
The
know.
character.
I mean, we both, like, you could tell like he was excited about doing the scene because it was just such a funny, quirky scene. And we just had fun, man. We just had fun working on it. Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
a
so
trip, man, because like they'll sit there and they just hit it from all these different angles. Like they hit it, at first it's the three of us right here, and they want to do it back behind. They want to do it from this angle, from that angle. And it's like, just for something that's small, takes a few hours, man. It takes a while
absolutely.
because they got to sit there and they got to set everything up, get the lighting right for the next time. They do that a few times and they set up the next angle. And it's just such a trip that something that small can take, a few hours to be able to knock out.
Did you get to see the, gymnastics scene as well?
So what I got to see was, and I apologize, I forget the young lady's name, but she was sitting there and doing like back handsprings, And so they were filming her scene too. And she did like so many of those back handsprings. It was unreal. And I remember coming up like afterwards, I was like, you are a champ. I mean, you've just been doing
Yeah.
that nonstop all this afternoon. And she was another very, very sweet person. Very nice.
Yeah, so I seen where you also worked on Teenage Bounty Hunters. Was that your first Netflix show before Cobra Kai?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Teenage Bounty Hunters was great, man. It really was. That's another show that was just really neat. The creator, she really gave us a lot of people opportunities that they hadn't had before. Like, I mean, there was the young lady that played my daughter, Devon Hale. She had never been a series regular before. And
Oh wow.
and so, you know, I mean, they tapped her to do it, and she just knocked it out of the park. She was just unreal. And one of the leads in that, it wasn't Angelica, it was the other girl. And I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names sometimes. My
Oh
apologies.
yeah, we all are.
But she was so funny, because like I remember like walking up to her and we were over at Craft Services, and I was like, oh, you know, have you ever, you know, what else have you been in? Or, you know, have anything like, you know, have you ever been a lead in anything like this before? She's like, no. She's like, I've been a recurring on stuff. She's like, but I've never been a lead. And all of a sudden she's getting a call, and she's like, I'm getting a call from my manager. I can't believe it. I have a manager now. And she just walks off like just in its blissful days. And it was so neat. I mean, they did a really great job of giving a lot of people opportunities that had never got opportunities before. And they made that a really, really fun set.
Yeah, I was looking through your credits and I saw you were on a show called Woke. I thought that was kind of funny because of your scene in Cobra Kai
Yeah.
with Johnny.
Yeah. So Woke, that one is a Hulu show. And it's so bad with these names. Is with a gentleman that was with New Girl, and it's a great show. Already season 1 is out, and it's kind of a trip. It's loosely based off of a true story of an African American draw. He's an artist, and he would draw like these different cartoons. And he had this situation with police where they misidentified him as a robbery suspect. And after that, it shook him so much to where he started making political satire with his cartoons. And
Okay.
it's a funny show, man. It's a good one. So, but yeah, I'll be in the second season. It's a very small scene, but still an awesome scene. It's fun. And I got to work with him as well. And I've really had an opportunity, man, to work with some really just good people. I've noticed that a lot of the leads are very genuine, just really nice
Awesome.
people. Yeah, it's good to know that, you know, you're not walking into some kind of pretentiousness or anything. These people are just, you can tell they're just happy to be there. They're excited. This is an opportunity
Absolutely, yeah.
you know, that they're able to fulfill their dream, and they really take hold of it and make every second count.
Yeah, I was looking through your credits. I saw you were a PA. What is it like, you know, for you going, you know, from like actor to production assistant to all these other roles throughout the, you know, film industry?
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I mean, you know, it's cool. I mean, it's like, you know, there is no small job, man. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, it's like, you know, over here in Atlanta, there's a lot of people that are making their own art, and they are, you know, and we all really try to pull together, man. I mean, that's the thing. I've never been over in LA, so I have no clue what that whole scene is like. I just know that over here, it's a very collaborative, kind of like we're all kind of like in a big family kind of thing. And so, yeah, I mean, like if a friend of mine has needed me to be able to work as a production assistant, I don't care. You know, if y'all need me to go grab lunch, I don't care. You know, I love watching these different directors and creators sit there and watch their art come to life, because you can just tell they're so excited that their art is
Absolutely, yeah.
life. So it's fun, man. So yeah, my only thing is like when I'm doing any of that stuff, because I got such fair skin, I just got to make sure I got to watch out for the sun, because otherwise it'll beat me up too much, man. But other than that,
Absolutely. Yeah, so speaking on that, do you ever see yourself, going into the director's chair or, moving into a writing, writing your own stuff?
No, not really. I mean, I don't really have much of a desire to do directing at all. And I've written before. I wrote a script one time. It took me a year to write a script. That's not my jam, man. It's a
Absolutely.
very for me, it was a very solitary kind of thing. Cause like I would come home from work and I'd work on it. But it's just, you're just there by yourself with your own thoughts, writing, rewriting, trying to sit there and create something and whatnot. And at the end of the day, once when I wrote it, I was proud that I wrote it, but at the same time, I was spent. I was spent. It was
Absolutely.
pretty much done. So yeah. So no, I think it's just pretty much just acting for me, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was looking at where you appeared on Disney Plus on Just Beyond. What is it like getting to, be on all these great big platforms like Hulu, Disney Plus, and Netflix?
It's interesting, man. It's everybody kind of does a little bit of something different, but it's all very professional. I mean, like Just Beyond, I mean, like how you said, that's Disney, excuse me, that's Disney Plus. And they're very, I mean, they're all COVID centric and everything and all that stuff. But it's
Absolutely.
interesting, like they would have these bubbles and you were in bubble A, and then you would have the production crew would be in bubble B, and you'd have to make sure that they were constantly separate and whatnot. Um, uh, it's I got to work with Mark Webb, and he was just a real laid back guy. I really, really enjoyed working with him. Um,
Sure.
yeah, I mean, there's honestly, I mean, I don't really know of a whole lot of differences or anything. I mean, during the whole COVID thing, everybody's got their COVID testers. Everybody's sitting there and making sure you're staying 6 feet apart. I mean, there's somebody that's coming over there constantly and saying, all right, everybody, you stay over here, you can go over here, so on and so forth. So nobody messed around with it, and you've got the COVID
Absolutely.
test. Like you would go in for the COVID test like the day before, and make sure that it came out okay. So I mean, it's nice. I mean, like they all care about your well-being. So yeah, I mean, it's I've been very, very thankful, very, very grateful about these different opportunities to be able to work with these people. It's been cool, man.
Yeah. So for you as an actor, what brings you the most joy?
Um, the moment of connection, I think. I mean, it's just like, where you're sitting there and it's like, you're able to kind of collaborate with the person across from you, and you sit there and you just kind of just, it's kind of like I always kind of call it playing pretend, man. It's like
For
when you're just
sure.
like it's like you
Exactly.
get to play, you just get to be a little kid again, you get to play pretend. So yeah, so it's just that connection you get to make with the other actors, and then plus as well as it's also nice too, like, if the director sits there and you can tell like they've got that look like, oh good, you did what I wanted, what I was envisioning. And that's another thing,
Absolutely.
because I mean, like, as an actor, it's like you're just there for somebody else's vision, and it's like, and I just want to make sure that I I I I do my job to make sure that I give the director what they're needing. And that's I love that fulfillment.
Yeah. So who is an actor you'd like to work with that you haven't got the opportunity to work with yet,
Ooh.
or act?
Let's see here. I don't know, man. Right off the bat, I'm thinking Tom Hardy or Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, those guys are
Oh,
just
absolutely.
out
Absolutely.
of this world, man. I mean, you get to work on a production like that with like some heavy hitters, man, and just to kind of see what their process is and all that, and it just yeah, I would love to do that, because it's something about those kind of guys. It's like, oh, I got to step up my A game, and I got to sit there
Absolutely.
and make sure. And it's not to say that nobody else. It's just, I don't know. There's just something that's there, that what they do, and that's not to take away from anybody else or anything like that. I'm really captivated with those guys. I like how they sit there and they're essentially chameleons, man, and the way how they work. And it's just, yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah. Did you get any pictures of Billy or Sholo when you were there?
No, man, I don't. I didn't bring my phone with me on set, because the fact that
Ah,
I try not to do that, because I've done it before, and you kind of get sucked into an article, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, okay, you ready? And it's like, and there's like a few minutes where you kind of got to clear out your mind from the interwebs or whatever. And
I totally get that.
so I didn't bring it with me. Even if I did, man, I don't know. I don't want to bug them, man. Like that's my
Absolutely.
problem. I just, it's like now with those two, they were cool enough to where I think I would have felt fine sitting there and
For
asking for
sure.
something like that. But it's like, man, you're doing your own thing. I just want to get out of your way. I want to do my deal, and then that's it, and then go. So
Well, with your scene, you can directly see both of y'all there together anyway, so it's really a screen grab there anyway.
that's true. That's
So
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, last question. Do you have any upcoming projects that you can currently speak about? I know you'll have to sign NDAs and all those type of things. So
Yeah, no, I have one project coming up. It's going to be coming out in the summertime, but I can't really speak of it, man, because of NDAs. I'm excited about it. It's a project that I've been watching since the beginning, and
that's awesome.
so yeah, so it's really fun. It's fun playing some of these different characters, man, because like you watch TV, you watch movies and stuff like that, and and it's like to be able to kind of play some of these characters that you that you kind of grew up kind of watching a little bit, and
Yeah,
like for
absolutely.
example, like I was in this one episode of the Haves and Have Nots, and I got to play a doctor, and the Haves and Have Nots, it's kind of like a kind of a soap opera kind of feel to it and everything, and I got to
Yeah,
play the part Dr. Tim Carson. And I got to sit there and say like the whole thing of like, I'm sorry, he didn't make it.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah,
And I used to sit there and watch soap operas with my mom. Like, and I remember the doctors would sit there and like the people would rush in and
yeah,
be like,
yeah,
oh my God, how's Frank doing or whatever. I'm sorry, but he didn't make it.
yeah.
So that was
Oh
fun
yeah,
playing that. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I can't speak of anything, but yeah, it's I've got another thing kind of down the pipe, and it'll be fun when it comes out. I'm looking forward to
for
that.
sure. Yeah, I just want to thank you for coming on today. It was great to be able to speak with you. Congratulations on everything so far, and we can't wait to see what you have coming up soon.
Levi, thank you so much, man, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate me being a part of this, man. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, Levi. Take care.
All right, see you, man.